Today I am setting up a wellness journal for the rest of 2021, and we're going to have some real talk about why I'm incorporating it into my planning routine. Hey y'all, welcome to Dots and Beyond. If you are new here, my name is Beth. I am a planner who also lives with bipolar disorder, and it's time I tackle the biggest side effect to the medications I take every day, fat. For the last year, I have done a lot of talk on this topic without the actual follow-through, and it is time for that to change. If you are already a part of the Dots and Beyond family, you may recognize this journal. It is the Archer and Olive A5 journal from the May Mental Health Awareness and You program. I am still using the front half of this journal to continue long-form journaling from that program, but I am going to flip this over and start my wellness journal from the back and work toward the middle. I am now an affiliate with Archer and Olive, so if you want to grab your own journal, I will link to their site in the description box below, and you can use the code DNB10 at checkout for 10% off your purchase. For pens, I am using some Archer and Olive Acrylographs, some Pigma Microns, a couple of Tombow dual brush pens, and some washi tape. A supply link is also in the description box, so check that out to pick up all of my favorites. I also use this font stencil, which is a cheap $1 purchase from the Dollar Tree for those who live in the United States. Okay, let's get started. I was already tossing around this idea when Valerie from Bright Violet Arts set up her fitness journal. And while my spreads are tailored to me and my needs, I was so enamored with her plus size pinup theme that I am using that idea as well. So a big shout out to Valerie. Go check out her video from the link below. I am starting with a cover page, treating this as though it is the front of a journal, even though this begins in the back. It's also important for me to define why I am making this journal and embarking on this journey. So the first two spreads are a list of reasons of why I want to do this wellness program and a tracker to help me follow month to month how much better I begin to feel in those various areas over the 6 months. Some of the reasons why I want to lose weight are to continue to be here for my boys, my overall health, my sleep, my skin, my energy levels. My weight also affects my career growth. Overweight individuals are perceived as sloppy or less disciplined, and this is a gross misconception, but a very, very real one. I am extraordinarily good at my job, but sometimes overlooked. As someone who has not always been plus-sized, I have first-hand knowledge of how I was treated by society as a fit person and how I am treated by society as a larger person. So I am going to let the video speak to this journal setup for a while, and I'm going to speak a little bit about bipolar disorder and weight. In 2019, New Life Outlook published an article on comorbid disorders among bipolar patients. Comorbidity is the simultaneous presence of two or more diseases or medical conditions in a patient, and many of these companion conditions are caused by the treatments for bipolar disorders, such as obesity. To quote that article, about 3/4 of people with bipolar disorder are overweight. This may, in part, be caused by high levels of cortisol, a hormone whose levels are raised by the stress of bipolar and other psychiatric disorders. However, the antipsychotic and antidepressant drugs used to treat bipolar patients are now also known to cause intense weight gain. In fact, some patients have gained more than 100 pounds due to medication side effects. Patients like me have known this for years, but it took science a little while to catch up. In high school, I was the super athlete. The word fit would have been an understatement. While I did not maintain that level of activity going into university, I did stay relatively healthy and worked to maintain my appearance. Then I had my first child, and what I thought was postpartum depression was diagnosed as bipolar disorder. It was pretty obvious post-diagnosis to look back on prior behaviors and see the correlation. But that is when I began treatment for my disorder, and the pounds packed on at a remarkable rate, despite my efforts to reduce the weight gain. I have lived through doctors chastising me for my weight, to them then accepting that medications were part of the problem when science finally told them to do so. It's a catch-22 and a 25-year struggle that has fostered in me immense shame, embarrassment, and isolation. I would be dead without the meds. True story. But they may also kill me despite diet and exercise because of the weight. But what is also true is that I halfway gave up the battle a few years ago and just stopped being as active as I need to be. This time last year, another comorbid diagnosis joined the growing list. I was diagnosed as diabetic, but barely. Over the course of this year, I have worked diligently, mostly with diet, to reduce my A1C, and I was successful. I am now off any diabetic medications, but I don't want to end up back in that place again. My career as an event manager keeps me more active during an average work day than the normal 9-to-5 job, for which I'm grateful. But it also means I spend a lot of hours in the day walking on unforgiving concrete floors, with a lot of extra weight causing stress to my body. In short, I just don't feel good. Ever. That's why I created this circular tracker to track how I feel as the months progress, similar to a level 10 life wheel that will color from the inside out each month as I begin feeling better in sleep, skin, joints, memory, energy, and overall health. My first tracker is a weekly weigh-in. I am starting with a 50-pound weight loss goal, and it will be more difficult for me than the average person. Last fall, my doctor and I increased my bipolar medication dosage, and with no other change in diet or exercise, I put on 10 pounds in 14 days. That is the very real threat to my body in order to maintain my mind. Many antidepressant medications have now been formulated to not cause this type of weight gain, but the antipsychotics aren't quite there yet. Not to mention, switching medications is always a wild, unwelcome roller coaster ride. Insurance companies also don't like to cover the cost of the latest and greatest in medications, which is another exhausting battle. So I choose to stay with what works, despite the consequences. Because of these struggles, it's also important for me to care for and nourish my mind. The next set of trackers are for daily meditation and podcast tracking. At the beginning of the pandemic, I began listening to the Wake Up, Wind Down podcast by Niall Breslin on Spotify, a twice daily quick reminder to focus on mindfulness. His long-form award-winning podcast, Where Is My Mind, has also been a lifeline and taught me to strip away my bullshit expectations about meditation. Go figure, it took an Irish rocker turned mindfulness coach to help me really begin to embrace meditating and focused mindfulness. The left side of this spread is set up to track what I hope is going to become a daily meditation practice. And on the right side, I'm tracking the episodes of the Wake Up, Wind Down podcast that I listen to. I'm great at the wind downs, but I'm not so great at the wake ups because I'm not much of a morning person. And this may not be the podcast for you. Perhaps Radio Headspace is more your cup of tea, or the app Calm. I just encourage you to find something that will help soothe and calm your mind when you need to take a break from day-to-day life. The next two sets of trackers will be for yoga and cardio, and I'm setting them up the exact same way as the meditation tracker with enough boxes for each day of the month. This will pull the tracking for these activities out of the habit trackers in my daily personal bullet journal and put them where I can see all 6 months at once. The one thing I am not focusing on in this setup is perfection. If my lines aren't even, that's okay. If a pinup girl doesn't look quite right, well, that's okay too. I do love this technique of using washi tape for the swimsuit pattern. Valerie did this as well with a different pattern of washi in her journal. The creator who is a master at this technique is Taryn Marie. I will also link her channel below because after watching her videos, I have wanted to try this technique for a long time. It's tricky, and I'm not great at it. In previous videos, I've mentioned that I can be a little heavy-handed, and here it shows. I did cut slightly through the page as well as the washi tape in several instances while trying to trim it accordingly. It's all part of the learning process. Next up is the goals and rewards page. Again, my goal for this 6 months is a very lofty weight loss of 50 pounds. That's a lot, and believe it or not, it's still fairly far off from my goal weight, but I feel it will be a monumental change for my health. I did create a per pound tracker that correlates with some mini goal bonuses and big bonuses or awards for reaching those milestones. Again, this is not going to be easy for me. Several years ago, a friend and I began working out with a trainer. That friend is 20 years older than me. Over the 5 months we trained together and kept each other accountable on diet, she dropped probably 40 pounds and I barely made it to 20. Fighting against the weight gain the medications cause is a very real thing, but my doctor was happy. He encouraged me to just keep moving, and above all, keep my heart healthy. Can I lose 50 pounds in 6 months in a healthy manner without starving myself? I don't know. It may not be realistic, but I am going to give it my best effort. If nothing else, I will continue to keep my heart healthy. After the goals page, I will have a very simple page per week for me to keep track of thoughts, feelings, diet notes, that sort of thing. I'm not tracking meals or calories in this journal. I tried this for the first few months of January to the June journal. I will link that flip through in the cards above, but what we learned is that I am crap at meal logging and I gave up after April. As we look back over this setup, you can see that I did come in and make some stylistic changes. I added some additional Galaxy washi tape as well as some solid colored line washi tape just to jazz up the pages just a little. I want to thank you for watching. I know this has been an unconventional plan with me, but I hope maybe you learned something about the very real weight struggle that can accompany a bipolar diagnosis. Yes, obesity is a growing epidemic in the United States and other places around the world, but sometimes it has nothing to do with overeating and laziness. I will do a follow-up on my fitness journey at the end of the year. If you learned something in this video, please give me a big thumbs up. Also consider hitting that subscribe button for more journaling, mindfulness, and project planning content every Friday. From whenever and wherever you are watching this, remember that you too are fierce. Have a great day. Bye-bye. If you like this video, please check out the mid-year setups for my work and personal bullet journals, and I will see you next week.